Today is my birthday and my mum sent me a picture of myself as a young child blowing out the birthday candles on a cake surrounded by friends and family. And it made me nostalgic, and not nostalgic for being younger or for being surrounded by friends and family, but nostalgic for the feeling of limitless time that you have as a kid. It's something that I've not felt for a long time now. I'm constantly feeling like there's so many things that need to be done, but only so much time in the day that's actually your own. If you take out work, if you take out sleep, if you take out cooking, cleaning, doing the washing, buying the groceries, take all that stuff, we're not left with much time. And I want that time back, and I need to run an experiment to do so. Recently, this phone is beginning to feel more and more like a dementor. It is sucking away the most valuable thing I have, my time. And just like a dementor, while it's sucking away time and happiness, it's filling me with dread. It's leaving me with bad feelings. Feelings of comparison, of envy, of greed, of feeling like I'm not succeeding because I'm not the smartest, fittest, most productive, most optimized person I could be. And while I'm spending so much time on this thing, it means that I'm not doing the things that make me me and the things that I hold true to be who I am, which is spending time with my friends and family and showing up for them, someone who makes things and is creative. And by taking away, 20 minutes here and there, an hour here and there, but more so like the ability to feel like I have time rather than actual time, I think that's the thing. It's the feeling of not having enough time that is sort of weighing on me. Okay, so change is needed. And while I really admire people who can ditch the phone completely, it's totally not realistic for me at the moment. So I've got an alternative, and the alternative is going to be an experiment. And the experiment starts by, unfortunately, but small cost, big gain, hopefully, buying a new phone, but not a good phone. I'm gonna go buy a very, very, very bad phone. And importantly, I want to be able to quantify this. I don't want it to be just feelings and wishy-washy. I want to be able to quantify if this new, worse, annoying, inconvenient phone actually makes my life better. So we're going to run a little experiment. And every time the phone makes my life better, I'm going to award points to it. And whenever the phone makes my life worse, it'll lose points. And so then at the end of the experiment, we can quantify if this new phone actually makes my life better or worse. I have some thoughts about where the phone is likely to lose and gain points. I think the annoying things will be feeling left out of like group tests, the actual inconvenience of using a bad phone. And I think the things that I'm likely to gain is hopefully mental clarity and free time in my head, like the time to just process thoughts and feel a bit more limitless in the time I have, even if it actually doesn't change hugely the objective amount of time I have. I don't know what else, but that's enough, and I'm excited to see what else there is. So, the next step, let's go buy a really bad phone. Bring, bring. Oh, hi. Yeah, of course. Bye. Got a little charging thing. It flips, it folds, it flips, it folds. I mean, what more would you want in a phone? So, it's got messages. You can text people. It's got WhatsApp. It's hearing aid compatible, which is a real plus. So it's really going to be a phone for life for me. Let's see. For tomorrow, I'm just running errands really tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. I've only got a couple days off at the moment. Let's do it. Night one with the phone. So normally when I go to set an alarm, I'll have a clear objective, set an alarm, go to bed. But I'll get distracted and I'll end up going down a rabbit hole, responding to a message, getting a notification, just checking something for God knows what reason. And then I'll get off my phone and then realize I haven't even done the task, used the phone as the tool as I initially meant to do, and instead it's taken me for a ride and now I'm the tool. I can't do that. All I can do is set an alarm. So let's set an alarm, and it's for old people, so I'm sure it's going to be loud enough for me. Good night, Thomas. I'm gonna use the phone. Good morning. Morning one is a success. The phone successfully woke me up. Not a small task, by the way. And more so than that, it totally eliminated the possibility of distraction at night and in the morning. So for that, it gets 3 points, positive 3 points. Okay, picking up the click and collect shopping. So you get the message and then I thought you might be able to click on it, but it just doesn't load. So you can't click I'm here with this phone, which is annoying. My plan going into it was to arrive and if there was no one around to just go into the store and say, hey, I'm here. Sorry, I can't use my phone. And that didn't even happen because I arrived and the worker from the shop was bringing out someone else's order. So I could just say to her, hey, this is my order number. Could you please get my shopping? And that was easy. So it would have taken a few more minutes simply because I wasn't able to preemptively click it as I was leaving my house to get there. So it took her a minute to get my order, maybe when it would have already been there previously. I think this score is, it's got to be negative because it wasn't smooth. So -2 because it could be annoying, but it would be fine. Am I someone that does a lot of click and collect? No. There we go. -2. Browse done. So easy. Wallet, I have my credit card, I have cash. I think it's really handy to have cash. Lost some points because you do have to be a bit more organized and have a plan B, which is not something that comes naturally to me. Day one of experiment. Later on in the day, I had leftovers in the sun and this was amazing. This was +5 points. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't have anything to reach for. I didn't have anywhere for my mind to go except to just be present and enjoy the sun and eat the pizza. It was lovely. Let's look at where we stand with the scores from today. Now, tomorrow, I'm actually a bit nervous for because I'm going to the city to meet a friend for lunch. I'm meeting somewhere in a new place where I haven't been before and I'll need to take public transport, multiple forms, and this is something I'd usually rely very heavily on my phone for. So we'll see how that goes. So without using a smartphone, how would you overcome the insurmountable challenge of navigating to an unfamiliar location? I just Googled it before I left and wrote down the directions. And then I followed those directions and lo and behold, it worked. I was able to get to the restaurant where I was meeting my friend for lunch. And now there's the but. And this is where the little moments of having a dumb phone really come to life, is these small unexpected challenges throughout today. And so although I was able to find the restaurant, I wasn't able to find the entrance to the restaurant. And this is because it was in a busy city block of Melbourne with lots of laneways and alleys. And I just couldn't find the entrance, and maybe that's my geographically challenged brain having troubles as well. But normally I'd feel fine in that situation because you've got help in your pocket really. You'd be able to, using your phone, navigate more precisely. However, this is where the beauty of the dumb phone and having these little moments in the day where you have to problem solve and come up with plan A, plan B, plan C happens. So plan A, I called my friend hoping that she might already be there, but actually she turned out to still be at work. This is Dr. Life. And then plan B, I just wandered aimlessly. And that was more so to put off plan C, which was to ask somebody for directions, which thankfully I actually was able to find the entrance of the restaurant just by spending a bit more time and opening my eyes a bit wider, having a bit more awareness about the things I was seeing, and just using my brain almost like 10% more, just actually thinking critically about where the door is probably going to be. I can problem solve this. This example really speaks to the beauty of the dumb phone because you have these really small, unexpected challenges in the day that do two things. The first thing they do is they bring you to the present moment because you have to problem solve them and you have to turn your brain on just that small amount more than it would normally be on. And then the second thing is that it gives you this confidence in yourself and the world around you because often they work out. You'll have these very small challenges. Either you'll be able to figure it out yourself, or someone around you will be able to help. And it's made me feel a lot more positive about myself and the world. It's been great. Today's theme was geographically being challenged, and that continued tonight where I picked up some friends and drove them to a new place for dinner. And on the way there, my friends were able to direct me to the restaurant. But on the way back, I was alone. I was by myself, having to navigate back home. And because I knew that I didn't have maps as an option, on the way there, my brain was more observant and paid attention just a small amount more, which then meant that on the drive home when I was by myself, I was able to navigate home without maps, which is not something I would have ever done before. Like normally I would have been like, no, I don't want to waste time. I just want to get home quick. Yeah, whatever. It's a stupid excuse. But it was actually so satisfying to be able to get home without maps, just using my awareness, and I noticed new things about my town. I felt like I was discovering new places and building like the map in my brain about where I was, much like an actual map. It was making more connections. Yeah.
Ready.
What?
Oh, ready, set, go?
Ready, set, go.
Okay.
And then tell them when you get the response.
It's not right.
James is in.
Okay, I have words from both of the same keypad. I want the stronger.
James just sent me a second message.
Send me up a DVD.
3 from James.
No way. Done.
4 from James.
To be fair, the last one I just copied paste.
Bella, yours. I just got yours.
And I also spelled it wrong. Fundamentally, the most important function of any phone is communication. So that's why when I picked out a new phone, I only had 2 criteria. Number 1, it had to have WhatsApp because that's how I message friends, family, and how we communicate at work a lot of the time. And number 2, it had to have Bluetooth because I love speaking to people while I'm driving on longer trips. And while this phone has both, and it can do both fine, the thing that I have found most difficult about this phone is the communication. And there's one thing about this phone that makes me so frustrated, and that is the difficulty to communicate. Because texting, if you want to text a simple message, it takes minutes. It doesn't take seconds, it takes minutes. So now there's this barrier between you communicating with your friends, and I found myself not responding to people or not initiating like little things that I would have normally initiated via text because it's so annoying to text. Like it's so annoying. But it's a great example because it demonstrates the point of this phone, which is that just by making things more inconvenient, that's all it takes to change behavior. And it's done that powerfully, and it's great in some aspects, but it is annoying in others. Another challenge that I really struggled... Sorry, the dog's speaking. Bedtime later. Bedtime later. Another challenge that I had is feeling guilty, and feeling guilty on behalf of the challenges that it was me using this was bringing to my friends, because my friends, we message on lots of different platforms. We can use like WhatsApp or Messenger or Facebook and things, and I wasn't able to use those, so I felt really inconvenient to them. Even sort of the presumption of like, hey, you're going to text me, please text me on this. Like there's a couple of friends I had to say like, hey, if you're going to text me, please like call me, ideally, or text me on my phone number rather than a different platform. I didn't like it because it felt like I was inconveniencing other people, which is not the point. I'm happy to be inconvenienced, but I don't want to inconvenience others. Over the next few days, having a dumb phone really didn't impact my life that much, except positively. I found that I did have more time in my days. I was able to do some gardening, had time to make a shelf after work, which is something I've been meaning to do for ages. Currently, I'm working in the intensive care unit, which does make having a dumb phone easier because we don't communicate much via text. I'm either speaking to my colleagues in the department or I'm calling my boss if I'm outside the department. So there's not much texting, which does make life a lot easier. However, it is slightly annoying at work because often I'd use an app on my phone to look up therapeutic guidelines, drug dosages, or calculators, and not having that in my pocket was inconvenient. However, there's generally a computer available somewhere, and I found that it didn't actually make a huge inconvenience in my day. And then for the rest of the week, the thing that I noticed was that other people were really interested in the phone, and it's not something that I brought up or made any point of showing or making visible. It's just that people were so drawn to it and so curious and intrigued, and the conversation would also almost immediately jump to if they thought they could do it, which I thought was really interesting. Even other conversations, not with people who knew I was using a different phone. The resentment of phones is so strong. I think it's such a feeling that so many people are feeling. And it's really interesting. I don't know what the future will look like with it, but especially I think people my age who had a childhood without a phone and now have one, and now working, you know, having less time and are yearning for something simpler. It's interesting how the phone plays into that, and it makes our life so much easier in some ways, but so much harder in others. And the price we're paying is our time. And now that we're in the workforce, we realize how valuable the time is. Inconvenient, yeah, for sure. But, and there's a huge but the thing that I felt the most was not the inconvenience or thinking of the things that could go wrong, but it was a calmness in my mind. And I think I know what is going on here for me. Having moments in the day where I'm not immediately, I just can't reach for my phone to check something or to put on a podcast or to whatever it is, being not able to physically do that. My brain is able to process the things that are happening around me, to me, the things I'm seeing, the things I'm observing, and actually process that rather than getting to the end of the day, getting to the night and feeling exhausted by the day. Because I think, this is my hypothesis, but I think because I haven't been doing that during the day, I've been just sort of getting flooded with information and not letting my brain have time to take it in. I don't know if that's a thing, but I felt really calm and content and like I had more time. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. It's results time. The Dumbphone came out net positive at +5 points. And when I was adding up the scores, one thing stood out. It lost points in many small ways. However, in the positive components, the phone gained high scores. And what I take away from this is that the positives are big positives. They are enormous positives. The negatives and the challenges of the phone are small, frequent, annoying, but are outweighed by the positives. Now, what I'm really interested to know is if this is something you think you could do, what do you think it would be the challenges for yourself, if it's something you would try, and what your thoughts are, even on like the future of our relationship with phones and technology. Thanks so much for watching.